Trump's border wall is, in my opinion, very stupid and racist, but there are some other issues that will come along with it factually, namely, it seems to be the extinction of an entire group of animals. So, yes. I did insert my commentary off the top. If you don't like it, I don't know what you're doing here. But the border wall seems to be, it has a lot of problems tied to it, both economically, both with our relations with other countries, many other facets, human facets in there. But what we're talking about today is animals. There is a small group of jaguars. I almost said jaguars.
You guys said jaguars.
Jokingly saying it earlier. There is a small group of jaguars in the United States, and they have been spotted from the mountains of Southern California to Louisiana. They used to be widespread, but there only seems to be a few left, and they seem to be males documented in the desert mountains of Tucson, Arizona, and this wall would cut them off from the larger population of 125 to 150 jaguars that seem to be about 80 miles south of the US-Mexico border, meaning that it had already dwindled significantly, the US jaguar population, but then it would be nothing essentially after that.
Well, these giant cats are already endangered.
Yeah.
And it's funny when you look at the research for this story, you find out that it even took several citizens and government agencies lawsuits to get them on the endangered list. So it's almost like this is continuing the trend of the United States government just having a problem with jaguars. You know, I don't know what it is, but in all aspects, this border wall is problematic. Yeah, you brought it up with the economic factors and just construction factors and infrastructure factors, and now it's going into environmental factors. How many more signs do we need before we decide this is a bad idea?
It's not just jaguars as far as animals go. Many animals seem to, and wildlife areas seem to be in danger, if not in clear, this is going to doom them. Predictions from that as well. And you're right about jaguars. They are endangered. They were listed as endangered in the US in 1997, and they were considered near threatened by a different group, the IUCN. And according to them, they did have to, the US Fish and Wildlife Service does not want to do anything for these animals whatsoever. Though other conservation groups and people who do care about jaguars have raised over $2 million to create a 55,000 acre northern jaguar reserve in Sonora, but Sonora is still south of where that wall would be.
Yes.
They would be in trouble after that.
It's actually an interesting fact. In doing some research for this story, I found that CNBC actually reported a couple of days ago that illegal crossing attempts at the US Southwest border have gone up since the announcement of the wall, leading that illegal immigrants are trying to cross this border to get into this country before that wall is built, also proving that this is another problem.
It didn't do what you said it would do.
Exactly, it's not stopping illegal immigration, it's actually creating more illegal immigration, and also it's gonna kill the jaguars, come on, come on.
I mean, there's a lot of reasons I could give for why this wall is not a good idea. Mexico was not going to support it. Mexico was never going to pay for it. It was always going to be a financial burden on our backs, not to mention the human impact, not to mention the immigration impact. On top of that, also, we don't care about jaguars. So I'm trying to bring it back to the story we were talking about. So if the US isn't willing to protect jaguars, other countries are certainly making an effort. 19 nations have jaguars in total. 14 of them had agreed that they would develop a jaguar corridor plan from Argentina to Mexico. So at least those jaguars seem to have a little bit of help. I mean, looking at the policies of this administration, when we're looking in terms of conservation and wildlife, they almost always seem to lose to other interests that involve development, that involve some kind of profit gaining. And it's It's sad. I've talked about it many times where we've seen our national monument shrink because there may be an opportunity to get oil or cut down trees or develop the land.
And the new EPA emission standards as well. It's just, this story is sadly, it's another factor in the idea that the current administration just doesn't care about the environment. And the environment is, I mean, logically very important.
Yeah, because it is on Earth.
And we live there.
We live there.
We live on planet Earth.
We don't have anywhere else to live right now. And our children don't either. And guess what? They also matter. Audience, is this wall going to be built? What are your actual thoughts? Please let us know on Facebook and Twitter.